Christ is born. Amazing gospel, where we could hear that Joseph was able to hear 3 commands directly from God. And one of the commands he received saved the life of Christ and probably Joseph's life and Mary's life. We are amazed how Joseph was able to hear this kind of message. Well, everything that we hear in the gospel is some kind of normal for us because it is gospel. And people there, they did wonderful things and they had this ability to communicate with God in a special way, which is so strange for us. Or the idea of it is far removed from our own experience. But still, there is in our heart this desire to hear these warnings for our own life from God. We would like to hear this command which would protect us, which will lead us in our life to a safe place, to a good place where we should be according to God's call. But somehow it stays in our mind in this some kind of a level of a wish because somehow we cannot experience this guidance from above. It's not true that God doesn't want to guide us. It is His wish to provide us with everything we need for our salvation. It is His providence which keeps us alive. And it is in His providence we can find ways how to live our life in beauty and holiness. The truth is that why we don't hear Him, and the problem is not on God's side, but the problem is on our side. Something is broken within us. Something broke this antenna which receives the guidance from God. Many times we are similar to people who are adjusted to doing too many things, and then our thoughts become scattered, and we try to pay attention to too many things. And we are attentive to those things. But then God gets lost in all of the noise of distraction. I think that a very good explanation on what we are supposed to be as Christians is the image of a mother. It's amazing that mothers can sleep even in a very noisy environment, and nothing can wake them up. But it is enough for this little gentle cry of a child. She wakes up and she can hear the baby and she can ignore other things. We are sensitive to those things that we want to be attuned to. We want to hear what we want to hear, and we want to listen. And as similar as mother who loves child with deep love is attuned to the child so much that she can even hear these suspicious noises from the crib. The child gives and she runs and takes care of the child. In the same way, she ignores any other noise from the outside. This should be the picture of Christians and how they should be attuned to be in love for God, so we are able to hear His voice. This is something what we need to fix and take care every single day. We have to start to build this ability to be able to hear God, to fix that antenna so we can be attuned to Him once more. And there are several things within the spiritual life how we can fix this problem if we want to grow towards attentiveness towards God. But today let me mention only one of those many things. We are to conquer and tame our scattered thoughts. Wasn't it our experience in the last days when Christmas was over and our minds started to run and to make plans for New Year, for the whole entire year, for work, for many other things. And then our attention towards God fell down and we forgot about Him. And we can see it in the attendance of the church. Regular Sunday, then Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then day after Christmas, which is still a feast day, goes down immediately. Or maybe we didn't even have the strength to be in the deep thoughts over the mystery of incarnation because our thoughts were already in a captivity of things which made us distracted and connected to the world, not with our soul. Distraction destroys us, and hence it should be our daily priority to calm down, to bring more silence into our life, to really put our daily schedules on a break for a moment when we are in some kind of a solitude, in silence, so we can gather our thoughts and we can try to penetrate this noisy world and to reconnect with God, to take care of our thoughts and to give them this direction that points towards heaven is one thing that we need to do if we want to hear God and His warnings in our life. The sin of being distracted from God is what separates us from God, because we are not able to give Him enough attention. And then many times we are even mistaken. When the good thoughts come to our mind, we consider them as good thoughts. But yet those thoughts came from the noise of the world, not from God. And then we only are doing our own will rather than God's will. God doesn't act differently as He acted in the life of St. Joseph. He acts the same way today. And in the same way He wants us to be part of our lives. And in the same way He wants us to protect us and to guide us and to be really part of our life because He wants us to get to heaven. It is just our ignorance which causes that we are deaf and blind, that we don't hear and sometimes don't even yearn for His guidance because it might go against our own agendas, our own plans. So let's try to start this process of renewing connection with God by removing the distractions out of our life. Let's start with this intensive process to gain this connection with Him, which leads us to the ability to be with Him. It is a very common mistake that when people think that just because they wish to gain paradise doesn't maybe get it. To gain paradise means that we have to be actively present within our spiritual life. Paradise is earned, not given. We are called to do painful procedures in our spiritual life to bring sacrifices within our life for God, and in some way to die to our worldly desires and ways of living, because only then we can save our eternal life and gain paradise. Christ is born.
Glorify Him.
Ave